Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse podcast. This is episode number 509. My name's Evan Patterson. With me today got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hello. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. Yeah, this is
First time.
This is like my first time as a father celebrating Father's Day. Kind of surreal, a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
It is very weird. And what better way to spend it than with your good friend, Kevin Ray.
Yeah, talking about some movies. Here we go. This week on the show, we're going to be reviewing I Saw the TV Glow by Jane Schoenbrunn. We're also going to be talking about some more watching on the watch list and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us this week. If you could, consider reviewing us on your podcast platform of choice. Let's kick things off with our review of I Saw the TV Glow. As I mentioned, this is written and directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. Schoenbrunn? I don't know.
One of them. Gotta be one.
I have a synopsis here. Two teenagers bond over their love of a supernatural TV show, but it is mysteriously canceled. Kevin, we'll start things off with you. What were your initial impressions of I Saw the TV Glow?
I gotta say, thought it was pretty wild. You know, when they talk about the TV show that they're obsessed with, the Pink Opaque.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, it pops up, you got the credits going, and you're like, well, at first I'm like, well, this is Buffy, right? This has to be Buffy. And then the credits start going, and you're like, oh, that's the Buffy font. So it's definitely Buffy. And then there's even a Buffy actor in it. So that was fun.
Yeah, there's definitely. I feel like there's also like, well, we'll get into all the homages, I think, and all the references and stuff in this. But continue.
Yeah. So I gotta say, early on, I was pretty well hooked from the whole idea of this TV show that they made up, and just like the actual look of the TV show itself, the way in which it's shot, everything about it. And just, I was pretty much hooked from the beginning. And I gotta say that I wasn't disappointed, really, throughout the entire movie.
I'm right there with you. I thought that this movie was fantastic. I think that this is an important film, and maybe we can get into that. But I think that this is a film that will speak to a lot of people in a very personal way. This is a movie that is pretty explicitly about one's identity, discovering one's identity, being true to one's identity. And I think that the way in which it handles that through these two main characters, played by Justice Smith and Bridget Lundy Payne, like them being sort of obsessed with this TV show and seeing their own identities through this TV show and being one of the only things that they can truly like connect with on a personal level. I think that will speak to a lot of people, and I really love the execution of this. Like the look as well, visually. I suspected I was gonna like this movie in general, because I did like We're All Going to the World's Fair, so I was really amped up for this one. Very high expectations, and I gotta say, met those expectations. This is a movie that ever since I saw it, it's just been sticking with me. Like, I've been thinking about it a lot, and I almost want to revisit it because there's a lot to sort of unpack with this movie. And I think that it's a movie that just really resonated with me. I think that this director is gonna, as long as they just keep doing what they're doing, they're gonna do some really amazing things. Continue to do amazing things.
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially considering that I think like the last two movies, what they're working with in terms of, you know, the internet and then a TV show, and it being kind of around the same, give or take, time frame as Us, just really helps aids things. You know what I mean?
I do want to get into that kind of specifically, just talking about this from like a personal standpoint. Takes place in the mid 90s, and these characters are roughly our age.
Pretty
And
much, yeah.
so what they're going through and like what they're experiencing is very similar to the way that the stuff that we grew up with and how we grew up and the world in which we grew up. That sort of we grew up in that sort of transition period between analog and digital. Like we were there. We're elder millennials, and the like the stuff that they dealt with and the pop culture, the TV shows, all of that is, that was our childhood. And I never had any kind of questions or conflicts with like gender identity or anything like that, but I have experienced a lot of strong connections with media, forming those bonds and such with movies and TV shows, and really latching on to certain media and finding myself in those things. And I think that, again, this movie does such a good job of encapsulating that idea of tying yourself so closely to TV show in this case. And then just like from a particular, like from a completely surface level look at it, I loved all the nostalgia. They're like all the little, like the Fruitopia machine and just the tiny Easter eggs and homages to the decade. I didn't think that it was too overt or anything. It was just enough to really kind of hammer in that nostalgia.
Yeah. I think we're, like you say, like from surface level portion of it, I guess what I'm looking at is surface level in terms of the craft on display here. It's just, I absolutely love this idea of, the pink opaque, the phone network that it's on, the look of the network, and
it felt like Snick.
Itself. Yeah, this TV show itself.
It was 100% like looking at Snick, Saturday Night Nickelodeon, back in the day when the young adult, like Are You Afraid of the Dark would come on.
Yeah. And just like the fact that it's so well thought out too, like you can tell that there probably is, or they probably did map out like the entire series of the Pink Opaque.
Oh yeah,
like there probably is an episode guide somewhere for this fake TV show. But just the look of the TV show itself, because like the first episode that they show, where significant portion of an episode with the ice cream man, I was just like, I want to watch this show. I want this show to exist.
There's no way that pilot was not modeled after the pilot episode of Pete and Pete, because the pilot episode of Pete and Pete was the one with Mr. Tasty, the ice cream man, and it looked exactly the same. And Pete and Pete play cameos in this movie, so there's no way.
There you go.
There's no way that was not planned.
I love it.
Speaking of which, Fred Durst plays the dad in this, that's kind of funny. And then you have like a little Tux and Fanny cameo in there too.
Yep.
So there's a lot of little winks and nods here, as you mentioned the Buffy.
Yeah, Amber Benson,
the Buffy
plays
stuff.
Johnny Link's like mother, like when Justice Smith stops over and was kind of freaking out.
Yeah. So tons of little Easter eggs and things like that, little references and stuff. I even liked all of the little like you mentioned the TV channel, the fake TV channel, how they showed the little like bumpers and stuff.
Yep.
I loved all of that. And even like there were so many even like small things that brought me back. One of the things was the scene when he goes into the cafeteria and he's walking through the cafeteria and all the tables are flipped upside down. Like it was just like small things like that you're like, oh yeah, they did that. Like that's something that they did.
Which
for some reason.
Wild. It seems
Yeah.
like a lot of extra work. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're bulky. You can't. I mean, you could probably do it by yourself, flip them back over. But Jesus, that's a lot to ask one person to do.
Yeah.
Whoever did that, right now their back is completely fucked.
Oh yeah, it's gone.
Back
Absolutely
is
gone.
fucked.
It's a dark film. I think that you could classify it as a horror film, but it's not your standard kind of supernatural horror film. It's a little bit more abstract, and I think that it's a little bit more very thoughtful in delivering the kind of horror moments. And this is PG-13, which I'm glad that they were able to get a PG-13 rating out of it, because I think that young adults and just young people in general are going to probably benefit a lot from this movie. And I'm glad that they will have an avenue just to see this and experience it without getting all kinds of, guff for it being an R rating. And I liked the horror elements, I guess, a little bit. I mean, I thought I saw the TV glow, or yeah, I thought We're All Going to the World's Fair was a little bit more on the creepy side.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I still enjoyed all of the kind of stuff that was at play here. One of the things that I liked a lot was the fact that, when this movie spans decades, and I like how when Justice Smith's character, when he revisits the series as an adult, like 20 years later, and he watches it on streaming, and it's like, it's a completely different show, and it doesn't look as real, and it's like super cheesy and cheap looking. I loved how they showed that, and because that's how it is, you go back and you watch Goosebumps, and you're just like, wow, this is very bad.
It's wild, a time and a place, the things that you get hooked on or infatuated with, that has that draw to you, because it is of that time and place, of that, who that person is. And then you're right, going back to it, you're just like, what? There's no way this is what it was. It can't be.
Yeah. Yep. Very interesting. It's just an overall fascinating movie. I love the performances were great, mainly from Justice Smith and Bridget Lundy Payne. They both did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that whole sequence where she's doing that like monologue in the when she's the inflatable planetarium,
the balloon
thing.
Oh yeah,
That was good stuff.
Yeah, really good. I mean, they gave both of these actors a lot to work with, and I think that they both crushed it. They both did a really phenomenal job. Great soundtrack too. I was really into the soundtrack of this. It's a contemporary soundtrack. It uses new music, but done in a way that I think does a really good job of sort of paying homage to the decade in which it takes place. You have like Phoebe Bridgers and Carolina Polachek like doing really good stuff. You get that great cover of Anthems of a 17-Year-Old Girl, which is probably the highlight. Also, there was a cover of Smashing Pumpkins' Tonight Tonight that they played for a little bit. And I liked that a whole lot. And I looked it up and I noticed that it's not on the soundtrack, but it's performed by Snail Mail, and it is coming out sometime this summer.
All right.
So I liked that a lot. Really good soundtrack.
I do also appreciate that it stopped, almost like a midway point when it just has two performances at the double lunch.
Yeah. I always find a lot of dedication to performances and musical performances in movies to be a little bit draining, and I could have done with a little bit of a shortened version of those. Yeah. But there's some nitpicks I could call out with this movie, but they're just nitpicks, really. It's a very ethereal movie, I would call it. Which is kind of fitting because the Pink Opaque, from what I read, is a reference to the Cocteau Twins album, which is in and of itself they're kind of an ethereal band. So they were. I don't think they're together anymore. Yeah, a lot of. I really love this movie. I highly recommend it. Maybe one of my favorites of the year so far.
It's definitely up there, without a doubt, up there. And I agree with everything you say. And I just found it to be a very like transfixing experience. Like I was just hooked, especially like I was pretty much well hooked, and then especially so when her character comes back, and Maddie's character comes back and starts kind of going off about like, do you remember the TV show correctly? And that's when it flipped for me where I was like, oh shit, what is this? I'm locked in. And I think like that's my biggest nitpick is like, honestly, I probably could have done more.
Yeah, I could have. I think they could have definitely dove into it more and had more of the kind of surreal elements where their past is like sort of blending in with the show and they don't really know what's real and what was part of the show, and like they themselves are just kind of melting into the show and all of that. I think certainly more of that would have been welcome, but what was here was great.
Oh yeah, especially, and I gotta say, much like we're all going to the World's Fair, like you said, this is something that's like sticking with me. It's I see myself.
Absolutely.
I keep finding myself thinking about this movie like every day since.
And it also has a really interesting vibe too, because like I said, it's dark, and I think that in some ways it is tragic in like what happens with Justice Smith's character, but at the same time there's this like undercurrent of hopefulness with it, with like the whole "there's still time" kind of motto that's sort of injected in there, where it's like, yeah, it's a pretty rough ending, but at the same time it leaves it open for positivity. It's like however you want to, whatever you want, however you want to pull it out.
Yeah.
I like to think that he got his shit together and that he became true to himself. All right. Anything else you want to add?
Watch it.
Yeah, check it out. It's on VOD now. Give it a look. All right, what are you gonna give it out of 10?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm at an 8. Yeah, I'm at an 8 too. Okay. My initials going into the conversation, I was at an 8. Okay. But now I'm almost going up to an 8.5 on this.
Feeling it.
Yeah. Just talking about it, man. Just and I think that that's what this movie is, and I think that that's another thing that makes it great, is that it is a conversation piece. Like, it is a movie that you can talk about with other people and sort of deconstruct and discuss. And I think that that's another thing that makes it just fantastic. So yeah, phenomenal. Great stuff. I saw the TV Glow. Check it out. Let's move on, talk about some of what I'm watching. Kevin, I believe it is your turn this week.
My turn. Godzilla Minus 0.
Ooh, all right. -1.
Oh yeah, -1.
I wasn't going to correct you at first, but then I'm like, you know what? People might think that I think it's called -0, and I don't want that. So.
You're like, I'm fine with people thinking Kevin's a fucking moron, but god damn it, I will not let people think I'm a moron.
Right? Well, I know you know the title, and it was just a flub.
Well, the reason I don't know the title's not completely locked in is because I didn't like this movie really at all. Kind of hated it.
Ugh.
Sorry. I was going to give you the heads up of like, hold on to that moment of me saying that I watched it, and then maybe plug your ears for the next minute or so.
Yeah. I mean, you had me. I was all excited. I know. My excitement was plateauing, and then you brought it straight down into the valley.
That's your Father's Day present right there. But this is just Malchus's all hell. This is just overly sentimental. Just Jesus Christ. I couldn't take it. It was just a bit too much for me. And there's just not that much Godzilla, which made it even weirder in a sense, because it's this, overly sentimental post-war love story type thing going on with the added weirdness of the Japanese people feeling sorry for themselves, like these soldiers and stuff. And it's like, you guys did some terrible shit during the war. I don't think I'm gonna sit here and be like, oh, woe is me. Um, and then like Godzilla shows up, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right. This is a Godzilla movie. This is weird. But I haven't watched a lot of Godzilla movies, to be honest. But and maybe you can talk to me about this because you've definitely seen more than me. But Godzilla in this movie just seems weird, like like uh like he's just aimless, and he's just like, I'm just wrecking shit, and that's
Yeah,
it.
it's kind of how he is in the older, like the Showa era. He just does his own thing, man.
It's just, I don't know. Like I do again, still the radiation buildup thing is still perhaps the coolest thing to see in a movie. Like every time, it's just the coolest fucking thing in the world. I don't know what it is about it, but the one, I think it was the first time that he did it in this movie, because this is out on Netflix, by the way. The first time he does it in this movie, I think I rewound it like 3 times. I was so happy.
The sound design in this movie is incredible.
Hell yeah.
The charge up, everything.
Yeah, there's everything about the charge up is just incredible. Just love it so much. What movies were made for.
I did buy the black and white version of this. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, okay.
But I do plan on watching it soon. I'm very excited.
One last question, because I didn't get a chance to look it up. What is? Hopefully you know this off the top of your head. What is the hip hop song or turntable song?
Pharaoh Monch?
Is that okay? Because every time the song plays in this, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna go into the Pharaoh Monch song.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, it's Pharaoh Monch.
Can't. But goddamn, you just want to listen to that song so bad.
Yeah, what a great song, man! I love that song. All right, that's Godzilla -1. Kevin hates it. Avoid, according to Kevin, avoid.
Fucking.
It was like my number 1 or number 2 movie of the year.
I feel sorry.
Hey, you know what? Stuff just doesn't vibe with people sometimes.
Yeah,
I understand that it is a very sentimental movie, but it worked for me. Like that sentimentality worked. And yes, I agree, it is overly sentimental. But I didn't look at that as like being a fault of it. Like I embraced the kind of overly sentimental vibe, because it's kind of how the OG Godzilla movies were. So that I think that's that's why I found it charming.
Yeah, and I did realize that it's like, oh, this is kind of fitting for the time period, but witnessing it with my own time is the issue that I had.
Yeah, and I get that. I had a very light week. The one that I saw was Lumberjack the Monster. This is Takeshi Miike's new one.
Yes.
This is on Netflix.
So tell me about it.
Disappointed, man. I was disappointed with this one. So this is a horror movie, more like a crime thriller. And it's about there's a serial killer on the loose, and this serial killer seems to be targeting like bad people. Like there seems to be this pattern, and there's a very more specific pattern that emerges later. But at first, it seems like they're just kind of like he's killing off douchebag people that everyone hates, and the main character is this I can't remember if he's like a lawyer or I think he's some sort of lawyer, but he's awful. He's a murderer. He's a psychopath, and he's the latest target, but he survives the attack, and he vows to track down who this serial killer is and kill him. And that's sort of the basic premise. And it's fine. I think that really the disappointing thing for me was that I was expecting it to be a little bit more out there, a little bit more indicative of the director, because This movie is pretty standard fare. Like it doesn't do anything wild. This isn't Ichi the Killer or Audition or any of Meike's like higher profile movies. It's more akin to, I don't want to say one of his like anime adaptations, but because it's definitely above that. But it's just a kind of a standard crime thriller. It was entertaining. I liked it enough, but it just didn't really wow me in the way that I kind of hoped that it would. So maybe a super light recommend for Lumberjack the Monster if you're looking for a decent crime thriller. There's some fun twists and turns.
Yeah.
In it.
All right. That's disappointing.
Yeah.
I also kind of had a feeling though. Feel it.
Yeah, it was meh.
Feel it in my bones. I watched Rope, Alfred Hitchcock, 1948. Jimmy Stewart.
I love this movie.
This movie is fucking wild. I've never seen Rope before, and this is such a wild idea for a movie. You got two guys that starts off the movie, they kill a guy, strangle him, throw him in a chest trunk type thing, and then they're having a party immediately afterwards. And they're getting off on this shit. They're like, yeah, we're gonna serve the food on top of the trunk itself. The guy's, fiance is coming. His parents are coming. Like, this is some sick and twisted shit, right? And then furthermore, what's even crazier is that essentially this whole idea comes from Jimmy Stewart, who's like their old like schoolmaster or whatever, and he's also invited. And of course he gets there and he starts going on his whole tirade of like, hey, we should be able to kill people. Like, honestly, we should be able to murder. Like there should be two groups of people, like people that are their, superior, and then you have your inferiors, and the superiors should be able to kill the inferiors. So that's where these students got their idea from and killed their classmate, and then Jimmy Stewart figures it out. And it's so wild to me that he's just, like, when he figures it out, he's like, you guys took my ideas and you perverted them. What the fuck? And it's like, dude, your idea was to murder people. They literally did the exact thing that you said. Like, they didn't pervert anything. They didn't misconstrue what your whole ideology was. Your ideology was like super simple. Some people are better and they should be able to kill people. And that's what they did. But just the filmmaking on display here. Super long takes. I didn't realize that this is like one of the first like single takes, and then like the camera like pulls into like someone's back and goes black so they could cut to a new scene, and then that scene lasts for like 8 minutes or so. So that was interesting to see the version of that in 1948.
Yeah.
And this is just tense as hell. It's a one location talkie. They just talk. That's all it is.
I love it. I thought, yeah. It's not my favorite Hitchcock, but it's like probably top 5 for me.
Yeah. And it's just, I just love that it's one location, nothing but talking. And the premise is these kids listen to their schoolmaster and they're like, yeah, he's kind of right. We should be able to kill people.
But it manages to be very suspenseful, at least to me.
Yeah. And I kept like flip-flopping back and forth because I'm like, well, surely I want them to get caught. But then I'm also like, damn, are they going to get away with this? Like, they need to be able to get away with this, I think. And the only other thing I will say is that Farley Granger, who plays Philip, he drinks too much throughout the party because he's a bit nervous. And his drunk acting at the end of this movie is just absolutely hilarious. Because he doesn't modulate and he just yells everything, very monotone. And it's hilarious. I love it. That's Hitchcock's Rope.
There were actually 2 other movies that I saw that I forgot about because I didn't log them. So
watch out. What do you got?
I'll mention them. River is the first one. This is directed by Junta Yamaguchi. This is a slight sci-fi movie. It's about it takes place in Kyoto, and it's about this the workers at this inn. there's this really incredible 100-year-old inn, and the workers there and the guests discover that they're caught in a time loop. And this time loop is only 2 minutes. So the thing that I liked about this, there were a couple things that set this apart from your standard time loop movie. One was that it was only 2 minutes, and two was that it was everybody. So it was like everybody within the area of this inn, and they were all caught in a time loop. Normally it's like one person that's caught in a time loop. The other thing that I thought was interesting is that they almost immediately, it only took like maybe 2 loops for them to all realize that they're caught in a time loop. So the whole like them figuring out the time loop thing, it was all very, it was expedited. Like by this point, all these people are familiar with the concept of a time loop. So after like the second time, they're like, hey, we appear to be caught in a time loop here, guys. Let's regroup and try to figure out what's going on. It starts off a little bit slow, but it definitely gains momentum, and I really enjoyed it. It's very light. It's a comedy, sort of. It's like a light comedy. Visually, the location is stunning. Like, I would love to stay at this inn. It is absolutely incredible. The camera work is very good too. Lots of single take shots, handheld work. Because it's a very chaotic movie, because they only have 2 minutes before the loop happens again. So they try to get as much done as they can within those 2 minutes. And then there's also some really interesting things, like the fact that 2 of the guests were eating when the loop occurred. So they don't even like realize it at first, but they were like, because to them it wasn't a time loop. To them there was like, it was a magical bowl of rice that every time they would keep eating it, but it would just keep refilling itself. And then there was the other person, was like, he was like a writer, and every time he would write a page, it would be deleted off of his screen, and it was driving him crazy because he didn't realize he was in a time loop either. And then like another person was listening to music, and he was like a worker who was on break, and he was wondering what was going on because the song that he just kept looping over and over again, he thought his music player was broken. So there's a lot of really interesting elements of this. I really liked it. And I definitely recommend it. It's called River. It's on VOD.
This is on my watch list, right? And as soon as you started talking about this, I was like, oh, what is that other Japanese time loop movie? It sounds very familiar. Oh, it's directed by the guy that did Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes.
Yeah, Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes. If you liked that, you'll like this. I mean, they look the same, like kind of cheap looking. There's like almost a digital video quality to the visuals, where it looks like almost like there's really soft lighting, and it's definitely a choice. Like, it's not really my thing, but you get used to it, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. The only other thing that I saw that I'm going to talk about, getting ready for Twisters, rewatch the original Twister, 1996 Twister.
It's a classic.
John DeBomp doing Twisters. I love this type of old school popcorn blockbuster. Mm-hmm. Super simple premise. Just starts off with Bill Paxton showing up, just trying to get those divorce papers signed. Twisters start happening, and the rest of the movie is just Twisters.
I love how this movie made like the whole storm chasing thing seem like a badass vocation. Like in real life, these are just like nerdy meteorologists, and they made it seem so cool in this movie.
Yeah, and of course, he gets there and got everything that you could want in a summer blockbuster, right? So you have like just let's get straight to the point. Called Twister, we're gonna give you fucking Twisters right off the bat, and then just more Twisters, one after another. And guess what? Each one is worse than the one before, right? So that's what people wanted, and that's what they gave you. But also, the way kicks off, it's just like, okay, let's introduce you to this ragtag group of fucking delinquents that are chasing down these twisters. And you're like, hell yeah, I love these guys. This is my team. Love them. I ride for them. And then of course the Carrie Ewell's team shows up, and right off the bat, you're like, these guys fucking suck. Hate these corporate pricks.
Mm-hmm.
So boom, I got my team that I'm rooting for. I hate this other team. And like, why is that a thing in storm chasing? Like, it probably is not in real life, but only in the movies.
Highly doubt it.
Only in the movies. And you just buy into it. I did. Hook, line, sinker. I was like, yeah, fuck him. Fuck him and his corporate, driving around in minivans, computers and shit. They're not real storm chasers. He's not doing it for the love of twisters. He's doing it for money. Which, is there money in storm chasing? I have no idea.
I can't imagine.
I don't know how there could be. Like, what is he getting endorsement deals? Like, I don't know what kind of money he's making.
Sponsorship deal.
But, like, for me, I didn't question it one bit. I'm just like, yeah, you can fucking tell he's doing it for the money, Adam. As soon as you're introduced to him, you can tell his heart's not in it.
Yeah, he's a goddamn sellout loser.
Exactly. And you just, like, I go for the ride the whole time. And then, at the end, you are just kind of like, this is fucking silly as shit, but so goddamn entertaining. And especially that last, like, that super twister where they're running. Yeah, because Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt can run faster than a twister. They're just fucking running from it. Like a poster getting flung at them at like 280 miles per hour, and they're able to dodge it. That one tractor comes down and they duck at the perfect moment. So ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
I will say, so I saw this movie not too long ago. My wife really likes this movie a lot, so I see it quite a bit. And the effects work, for the most part, very much holds up to me in this. Like, because a lot of the stunts and stuff, like the car driving through the house and all of that, they were all done in camera. Like that was all done practically, and it looks fantastic. A lot of
it. It looks really good. There's only a couple of spots where you're like, a little.
Yeah, like the cow.
Yeah, the cow,
which is the cow's a goofy scene anyway.
Yes, but that's what I love. They don't take it too serious. Because I'll say the other thing that I rewatched that I don't really want to talk about was The Day After Tomorrow. Kind of get my disaster flicks in.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you, the effects work in that movie, fucking.
It looks, I can imagine that would not hold up. Because that one was very heavy CG.
And that one is just as ridiculous, but they take it seriously, and it doesn't work because of it.
Yeah. I love Twister. I'm actually pretty excited for the new one, to be honest. You have Lee Isaac Chung directing it, which in and of itself is very interesting.
Don't understand that at all. But
it's a weird choice. And then, you got Glenn Powell in there, and I think that he's going to bring that level of comedy and kind of disaster seriousness, that cheesiness that I think that Paxton was able to do so effortlessly. I'm looking forward to it.
Same here.
I'm not expecting it to be good, but I'm just hoping that it's a fun ride. Speaking of, man, I can't believe they got rid of the Twister ride at Universal. That's very unfortunate. I loved the Twister ride. It wasn't really a ride, but it was like an experience. I don't really have anything else. I saw The Strangers Chapter 1, and it's absolute garbage. Atlas was my worst, is what I thought the worst movie of the year was, and then I saw The Strangers Chapter 1.
Oh.
And that is my new worst movie of the year. I didn't even realize it until I put the movie on, but it's directed by Rennie Harlin.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
What?
Which is wild, man. I feel like Rennie Harlin hasn't, like, what? Hold on. Let me see what he's done. Oh, actually, he's been doing a lot of stuff, but it's just like all, like he did Skip Trace with Jackie Chan and Johnny Knoxville from 2016. And he did The Bricklayer from 2023. Like movies that are kind of generic. But anyway, it's absolute garbage. It's essentially just a remake of the original one, the first Strangers. And it's not scary and it's not interesting. And I think it does that franchise a disservice. Now, I didn't really see any of the other Strangers movies aside from the first one. I think there's only one other one. And I think that one wasn't very good either. But yeah, it's dog shit. Avoid The Strangers Chapter 1. Just don't bother with it. Let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. The Bike Riders is the big one.
Riding bikes.
I don't know. I'm interested in this. What is your take? Are you interested? Jeff Nichols?
I don't know. Just don't know. I just don't really have interest in Jeff Nichols anymore.
I like his stuff. For the most part. This one I'm hoping that it's kind of, harkening back to the biker movies of the 70s. I don't know if that's true, but it seems like it maybe could be, little Easy Rider homage.
Looks like it. Watch out now.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I guess you'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not going to see it in the theater, but anyway.
Oh, no. Yeah, definitely not.
VOD this week. We got Mars Express coming out. We got I Used to Be Funny. We got Agent Recon, Copa 71, Blackwater Lane. We got The Speedway Murders.
No.
What Remains. Got The Present and Queen Rising. Got A Stork's Journey 2.
There's a Stork's Journey 1.
Evidently.
Stork's Journey.
That's an animated. It's like a pile of crap. Got Outrage and Chestnut. Let's see what's coming out on Netflix. Got Trigger Warning. That's the one with Jessica Alba. Outstanding, A Comedy Revolution. Got Black Barbie, the documentary. We got Flex Academy. Inheritance and The Accidental Twins. Inheritance is one that I'm interested in. Let's see. Is anything coming out on Amazon? Nope. No, we got one here. Federer. 12 Final Days.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so for all you tennis fans out there.
That's it. Yeah. Funny. The only reason I know about this is because of work.
Got a lot of tennis fans.
No. I guess Rolex has a part of this.
Oh.
Because of Federer. So it's like a work thing. Like, hey, check out this documentary. Thank you, work. Don't tell me what to watch.
Thanks.
Come on now.
You control me for enough time out of the week. Work.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me what I can watch. What I should watch. Okay, that's about it for VOD. Let me see what we got on Blu-ray. I forgot to pull it up. This is for June 18th. Got Chinatown coming out in 4K. Got RoboCop 2 coming out in 4K. It's a collector's edition. The 2014 RoboCop is getting a 4K release. American Gigolo. That's not a Criterion, right?
Nope.
American Gigolo from 1980. A 4K release. American Fiction. The Karate Kid from 1984. Beverly Hills Ninja from 1997. I used to love that movie as a kid. I bet, man, I want to revisit that because part of me thinks it won't hold up, and then part of me thinks that it definitely will because of Chris Farley.
Yeah.
I definitely want to revisit that, actually. Shotgun Stories from 2007. Mars Express. Obsession from 1949. The Burglars from 1971. The Phantom of the Monastery from 1934. About Criterions this week.
Oh, we got two. First one being 1996 is Bound.
You know what? I never saw Bound.
I actually forgot all about this movie until just now.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcast@filmpulse.net. And if you could consider giving us a review on your podcast platform of choice. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson, and we'll see you next week.